For over 70 years, the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Marin has worked to inspire joy and justice in an imperfect world, sharing life's journey, celebrating many paths, and acting to make a difference. UU Marin celebrates people from all walks of life. No matter how you make your living or how you experience the sacred, no matter who you are, where you're from, or who you love, you are welcome here. If you're seeking open-hearted community, a place where you can have a real day-to-day impact in the world, and a space for the whole family to grow spiritually, come check out the church at the top of the hill. Come join UU Marin.
This is my last time as your worship associate. It's been an honor to be part of your Sunday mornings for 3 years. Thank you for listening to my struggles and my musings. The best things about being a worship associate are receiving your support, the support of my team, and secondly, having the opportunity for introspection. And for those, I'm grateful. Through the last 3 years, I've given journey speeches on 14 different topics. One of them was joy, our theme for today. I was tempted to just use that old speech. So much easier, and no one would know. It was an okay speech of joyful moments throughout my life, even through tough times. But the speech doesn't work for me today, at this stage of my life's journey, because I've recently gotten myself into a total conundrum about joy. Earlier this month, Reverend Corey gave a sermon where he defined joy as finding inner divinity and being in union with the creative forces of the universe. Ever since then, I've been feeling a bit confused about joy and wondering if I've ever experienced it. I thought I knew what it was, but now I'm stuck on wondering how joy is different from happiness, contentment, equanimity. Do I really feel joy? Is what I experience an illusion? Well, rather than being mired in this intellectual exercise that feels familiar and comfortable for me, I'm simply going with the idea that joy and happiness are intertwined and are most readily available to me through experience with family and friends and through noticing all the beauties in the world around me. The common denominator for joyful, though fleeting moments in my life, it seems, all seem to be that the self and the mind become less prominent. The more I think about finding joy, the more burdensome and elusive it becomes, and the more the self gets in the way. So I've said to myself, enough already. Just go out and experience joy and be aware when you feel it. So 2 weeks ago, I spent Mother's Day weekend in the Poconos with 2 of my sons and their families who live on the East Coast. I adore my boys. Not that they don't make me mad sometimes, but the joy is palpable a lot of the times I'm with them. On the drive up to the mountains, my intellectual, philosophical son, who works in higher education, was driving the car, and I sat in the front seat with him. I asked him his definition of joy. Such wisdom flowed out of his mouth, I picked up the only available piece of paper, which was a UPS store receipt, and started writing things down. The conversation was joyful. We laughed and discussed and wondered together. He listened, I listened. We bounced ideas around. My heart was filled with joy. After we arrived at our VRBO, 5 of us played the game Taboo after dinner. We laughed at the silliness and the challenges. That too was joy. Then my New York son and his family arrived. He's in the marketing field and has a totally different personality than the educator's son. More of a jovial, life of the party type. I told him about my speech struggles with understanding the meaning of joy, and he suggested I write the whole speech as if I were looking for my friend named Joy. She was short, cute, and always happy. And when I found her, I could interview her about what joy means to her and why she's always joyful. We all started laughing and joking about this person, Joy, and what we would ask her, and that felt joyful too. The whole evening was a letting go of worry, letting go of planning, and of all the academic ways I've been trained to think. Instead, I was just having fun in the present moment and being aware of the gratitude I felt for these amazing sons. Although I feel pretty content with the joy I already have in my life, I'm still open to learning about another form of joy that I haven't experienced, the transcendent joy that Reverend Corey spoke of. But I'm not there yet. I've just finished an insight meditation course, which has finally helped me not see meditation as Buddhist torture. It's shown me how to be more aware and mindful of my thoughts, emotions, and the sensory world. Through the class, I get daily emails from a Burmese monk. Last week, he told me, a complicated mind that thinks, expects, and plans blocks off wisdom. Maybe this meditation venture will help lead me to more joy or a different type of joy, but it's a work in progress. I realize that journey will require patience, practice, honesty, and willingness, among other qualities to develop and use. Oh well, grow until you go, as Jim Petraska used to say. Along the way on this path, I'll be thinking of you all and singing, "There is more joy somewhere," and I'm going to keep on until I find it.
Milton. That's in the hymnal too. It used to be called Standing on the Side of Love. It's got a line in it that says, "Reflections of Grace in Every Embrace." It was written by Jason Sheldon. And when we changed the Standing on the Side of Love campaign name to be more friendly to people that can't stand, he changed the title of that song to Answering the Call of Love, rather than Standing on the Side of Love. And it's one of the things I love about our faith, is that we learn, we grow, we change. So that wasn't written down, but I felt like I had to say it. So first, a poem by Kathleen Bonanno. You can try to strangle light. Use your hands and think you found the throat of it, but you haven't. You could use a rope or a garrote or a telephone cord, but the light, amorphous, implacable, will make a fool of you in the end. You could make it your mission to shut it out forever, to crouch in the dark, the blinds pulled tight. Still, in the morning, a gleaming little ray will betray you, poking its optimistic finger through a corner of the blind, and then more light, clever, nervy, impossible, spilling out from the crevices, warming that shade. This is the stubborn sun, choosing to rise like it did yesterday, like it will tomorrow. You have nothing to do with it. The sun makes its own history. Light has its way. Light will have its way. I do believe that. Being an out and proud lesbian for quite a few years now, I've experienced much joy. And I have to tell you, I am so glad that I'm gay. Okay? Don't you wish you were too? I mean, come on. And I know a lot of you here identify with the term straight but not narrow. I'm not going to ask you to raise your hands because, I don't want to force somebody who's gay to come out by not raising their hand. But this morning I want to lift up that accepting and supporting your gay friends isn't enough. Maybe I want you to feel just a little teeny bit jealous of us, okay? Think about donning some gay apparel just for today. Maybe we can all be dancing queens in our heart of hearts. And, much as I appreciate the reasoning behind the argument that being gay is not a choice, that argument has always bothered me because it can lead too quickly to the idea that no one would choose this life. What gay people need is tolerance and pity because, after all, we were born this way. We can't help it. I feel that way about heterosexuals. You can't help it either. And I don't pretend to understand the science behind the arguments. And I also know that many gay people have tried really hard to become heterosexual and have failed both miserably and painfully. So it may not be a choice, at least for everyone. But I want to say clearly and proudly and joyfully today that if it is a choice, it is one that I am happy and proud to have made. It is great to be gay. Yeah, there's still a lot of discrimination and bias. It's kind of getting worse lately, too, particularly with the anti-trans stuff. I'm not going to go there. And it would be great if we didn't have to worry that all of the progress we've made in the last few years could be swept away in a flash if an election or court decision goes the wrong way. But, it has been getting better over the course of my life, anyway, long life. But even when it was really terrible, even when it was illegal, almost everywhere in the world, it was still worth it. Being gay has always been a blessing. Now, I'm in my mid-70s. I know I don't act it often. But back in 1965, I was 15 when I fell in love with my best friend. We were in the Rainbow Girls, if you can believe it, and would dress up in floor-length formals and conduct very serious rituals. And in 1965, the rainbow was not yet a symbol of gay pride. That didn't happen until 1978. But I like to think the creators of it got the idea from me. It's not true, but, I was, and I still am, a rainbow girl. I just don't wear floor-length formals anymore. Sometimes, in certain situations, I'll wear a floor-length clerical robe, but fancy formal dresses, no. As young girls often do, we shared our hopes, our fears, our troubles, and our souls. One night, we hugged each other, and neither one of us wanted to let go. We knew something was happening while we held each other, but it took us a while to figure it out. In 1965, in a small California town, we didn't know any gay people, any lesbians. There weren't any on TV, and it wasn't mentioned in the newspaper. We did know, however, that if you wore green on Thursdays, it meant you were queer. That was the playground taunt when I was growing up. But what is one to do if March 17th falls on a Thursday? I mean, if you didn't wear green on St. Patrick's Day, you would get pinched. Get pinched or be queer. Any sensible person would choose queer, right? And seriously, we knew enough to know that what we were doing was not something others thought was okay. But we knew it was wonderful. We were, after all, in love, young love, sometimes the sweetest. I wrote in my journal the following question: how can anything so wrong be so right? We were good for each other, and we were glad that we were both girls. If one of us had been a boy, our parents would never have let us spend the night together. We had a whole lot of sleepovers in the year and a half we were together. And then, after we broke up, which happens with young love, I experimented with heterosexuality for a few years. And it was okay. I like men, but to be honest, for an intimate relationship, for a life partner, for me, women are just better. I decided to come out and identify openly as a lesbian in 1973. It was a decision to lead a more fulfilling life. Because of that choice, I was lucky enough in 1975, that's still a long time ago too, to fall in love with my dear Anne. It has been good, not perfect, no one's life is perfect, but Anne and I have had a good life together. It'll be 50 years this coming January. We're gonna have a big party, guys. And sorry, Corey, but Anne is my sweetie now and forever. I called him sweetie during his, never mind. Anne and I had 3 children together, children that always knew they were wanted. Lesbians don't tend to get pregnant by accident. I know that might come as a surprise to some of you. Having children was a choice, one I would definitely make again. And we now have a wonderful bonus of our little granddaughter. So if being gay is a choice, like becoming a mother is a choice, it is one I would make again. Frankly, being gay is so great that you heterosexuals really should be jealous of us. You may have heard the line, and it's an old line. I think it was a book or something, but men are from Mars and women are from Venus. Have you ever heard that before? Some of you older folks probably have. It's not particularly current. But if you're part of a same-gender couple, at the very least, you both live on the same planet. And seriously, there are still so many gender-related cultural attitudes and approaches to life that it's just easier to understand and get along with someone of the same gender. There's also the fact that we are still in a male-dominated society, cursed with the dreaded patriarchy, which I tried to drum out during the drum circle. So within same-gender relationships, the external power differences, including usually earning capacity, tends to be much less. And if you live with someone of the same gender, you don't have to argue about whether or not to put the toilet seat down. Come on, you straight couples, admit that you argue about that. You got to. I just can't believe it. I know, because when straight men come over and visit, they leave the seat up. And it's like, so not the way it goes. And if you and your partner are close to the same size, you can even share clothes without anyone noticing. Except Ann and she would never wear all the purple I wear. She likes more. She likes greens and reds, and she's pretty bright today for her, but she's not a purple person. So purple's all mine. So, no two people, no two couples, no two families are exactly the same. But gender roles do tend to require a lot more negotiation in heterosexual relationships. Our oldest son, when he was about 12, made the comment that he liked having two moms, partly because it gave him the freedom to be who he was. He could like cooking, he could like doing yard work, and could be just whoever he was. He wasn't locked into a stereotypical gender role just because he was a boy. He's heterosexual, and sorry for him for that. And the woman he lives with has expressed a lot of appreciation for his non-patriarchal approach in their relationship. And studies show that children raised by same-gender parents turn out pretty much like other kids do, with a small but not insignificant difference. That as adolescents and adults, those kids tend to be more accepting of all different kinds of differences. And I think we need more people like that in the world. And so any of you queer people in the audience have kids, the world needs you to do that. Never mind. When our kids were small, the other mothers we met would often comment, as they saw us both changing diapers and dealing with the kids, that they would love it if their kids had an extra mom to help with all the mothering duties. Not that men can't do those things, and not that there aren't some dads, both straight and gay, who are awesome in all the nurturing tasks. But for at least most of these women, their husbands were just kind of helpers. The child-rearing duty, the house, was not fully shared. They said they were jealous of us, and I believed them. And there are all the straight women friends who, when their relationships with men just didn't seem to work out, they've told us that they wish they were lesbians because it just seems a whole lot easier. It is. They were jealous of what Ann and I have together. Jealousy can be a good thing. It's so much better than tolerance, and it is certainly better than disgust. The point of this sermon is not, however, a recruiting effort. No toaster ovens will be handed out if you join up. And that's a really dated joke from the old Ellen show when she came out on TV, one of the first coming outs on TV. I think it's great to be gay. It makes me happy. It brings me joy. But even if straight people have it harder in some ways, they can be happy too. And the real message is that we all need to find the good that is in each of us, in each of our lives. There are advantages and disadvantages to almost everything. But I just want to be clear. There's nothing wrong with being straight. Love is love, after all, right? Can I get a hallelujah to that? Hallelujah. Okay, love is love. A lot of things have and will break our hearts. There's so much that we would change if we could about the world and sometimes about our own lives. There's loss, there's grief, discrimination, oppression. There are tragedies of all kinds in life. Most of us would like more of something in our lives. More time, more money, better health, better weather, but not us that live in California. More peace, or more excitement. And there will always be something we imagine will make our lives better. I mean, I would love it if we had real equality throughout the world and justice. I would love it if all churches were as accepting of diversity as this one. We can work for the changes we would like to see. But in the meantime, let's count our blessings. Let us be happy with who we are and what we are doing. Each of you has positives in your life. Recognize them. And there's one right there. Yeah. And celebrate them. Celebrate who you are, a complex human being with a complex life. Know that there's a river that runs in each of our souls. We are all somebody. Real joy comes, I believe, from being our authentic selves. Don't get stuck in the negative messages. No one is less than anyone else. We all have inherent worth and dignity and cuteness. We're all cute too. Yeah. Relish your own worth and dignity. Enjoy it. Enjoy the children. I mean, come on. Be who you are. Be happy. Be gay. Even if you're straight, be gay. It also means happiness. Love fiercely, love well. And remember that the only measure of our words and our deeds will be the love we leave behind when we're gone. Amen. Blessed be.